mind is unobstructed, the result is wisdom. When the heart is unobstructed, the result is love. And when the eye is unobstructed, the result is sight. Creation happens in the blink of an eye. Ideas are formed in the space between thoughts, in the space between words, in the blink of an eye. Blink, and it's a new world. Each time we close our eyes, we have the opportunity to reset our heart, to refresh our mind, and to view the world from an entirely new perspective. And when we close our eyes, there's that brief moment of darkness. But coming out of that space, we have the freedom to choose how we see the world anew. We try to create world peace. We set new development goals. We plan marches. We raise money. All the while, often forgetting to put our energy in the most important place, our own perspective. It doesn't take much for our world to change. All it takes is the courage to see the world through a new lens. Each of the awardees on this stage here today embody an unceasing commitment to viewing the positive that this world has to offer. They choose to focus not on the problem, but on the solution. And in doing so, they bring to life the United Nations mission in each of their own countries from their own unique perspectives. What they each share in common is that they not only create change, but they live the change they wish to see in the world. With a little bit of courage, hopefully we can learn from each other here today and embrace a unifying perspective. A perspective that values each and every one of our United Nations. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, High Representative, thank you so much for being here today. Good afternoon and welcome to the Intercultural Innovation Award, a partnership between the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations and the BMW Group. The award provides funding and technical support to grassroots initiatives taking concrete action to advance the field of intercultural collaboration. We have received over 1,300 applications from 130 countries around the world and have narrowed the field to 10, each of whom you will hear from today. And please, I would ask, if a project inspires you, if it moves your heart, speak up. Connect with the awardees after this ceremony, because this event is not only about creating awareness, it's about concrete action with results that we can measure. So without any further ado, we are going to go to a very special video by the United Nations Deputy Secretary General, Ms. Amina Mohammed, who will start us on this magnificent journey together.
Mr. Nasser Abdulaziz Al Nasser, the United Nations High Representative for the Alliance of Civilizations, Mr. Bill McAndrews, Vice President, Communication Strategy, Corporate and Marketing Communications, BMW Group, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really pleased to send greetings to this year's Intercultural Innovation Awards ceremony. In 2011, the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations and the BMW Group established the award to support intercultural dialogue. In our changing world, we need to think of innovative ways to promote inclusive societies and achieve durable peace. This involves working with all actors, including governments, faith groups, civil society, the business community, to foster tolerance and mutual respect and understanding among peoples of different cultural and religious identities. The Intercultural Innovation Award helps to empower grassroots initiatives, including those led by youth, by rewarding efforts to break down barriers and bridge cultural divides. Past recipients of the award are making a real difference for people in more than 88 countries around the world. Creativity, courage, and passion are all qualities that define the people and projects that we celebrate. They range from a multimedia peace-building project that uses stories of moral courage to promote reconciliation among Bosnian citizens, to initiatives that promoting intercultural dialogue between teenagers from urban Sao Paulo and rural communities in the Amazon. I commend all 10 nominees for this year's Intercultural Innovation Award, and I welcome this important partnership for its commitment to promoting intercultural dialogue for a safer, more sustainable, equitable, and prosperous world for all. Thank you.
I want to emphasize that the Intercultural Innovation Award ceremony is not an end in itself. It is a building block in a constructive process in which we work together to support the recipients of the award and help them expand and amplify their projects around the world. Those are the words of the High Representative, who I would now like to call to the stage, His Excellency Nasir Abdulaziz Al Nasser, the High Representative for the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations.
Good afternoon, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, and dear awardees. It always gives me a great pleasure to be on stage celebrating the IIA Awards. This is the 5th edition, but this time the ceremony has a special significance. It's the first time that the UN headquarters in New York plays host to the award ceremony. We are very proud of this flagship project with BMW Group, and we want to share with you the membership and our partners here in New York. Mutual respect, diversity, and understanding among civilizations are all values required in peaceful, inclusive, and sustainable societies. These are at the core of our work at the UNAOC. But we cannot accomplish the mission alone. Collective efforts with the state and non-state actors, including the civil society, the corporate sectors, religious leaders, and the media, are crucial to our success. The robust partnership that we forged with BMW Group since 2011 is a good example of such collective efforts geared towards creating a new successful model for collaboration between the United Nations and private sector. In the words of the Deputy Secretary General, we need to think of innovative ways and expand the space for dialogue. As such, I salute BMW Group, especially Mr. Bill McAndrews, who became a friend as well, for their commitment and consistent support year after year to this flagship project. In a short while, we will be hearing extraordinary stories coming from all over the world. The awardee initiative provide outstanding examples of how grassroots help in bridging cultural divides. Let us support these leaders so they can expand their activities and so others can be inspired from them. I thank you very much, and I hope you will enjoy this very special event. And once again, I would like to congratulate the awardees and wish them all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The High Representative said how important it is that we build mutual respect if we are to build peace. And I don't think respect happens by accident. What we're really talking about is finding that moment of connection where we recognize the humanity in others. And I think you will find that in each of these projects today. They have a really unique and inspiring way of having us in our minds move people from the category of them to the category of us. And at that point, we are inspired to serve them. And I would encourage everyone here today to think about one moment, one line from this event that inspires you as you may be called upon before the end of this ceremony to share your thoughts with us. I would now like to call to the stage Mr. Bill McAndrews, Vice President for the BMW Group, who will continue our journey together.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, representatives, also distinguished guests, and most of all, a warm welcome to our awardees. We are quite proud of you, as Mr. Anas had already said. As you can imagine, I'm extremely delighted to be here today on behalf of the BMW Group. But I would also offer special thanks to Her Excellency Amina Mohammed, UN Deputy Secretary General, for her kind words and support for this initiative. And naturally, without a doubt, I would like to also thank my friend and someone who I truly admire, who has worked with us hand in hand, His Excellency Al Nasser. Again, thank you for all that you've done. The BMW Group, as well as the UNOSC, both share a common vision, creating a more inclusive international community. Also, trying to promote intercultural dialogue wherever possible. I think it has been an incredible journey the last 6 years that we've worked together between the BMW Group and the UNAOC. But today I would also like to take a moment to thank our teams, both from the UNAOC as well as those from Munich. Without them, this would not take place. They play a key role. So I would like to personally thank, and I believe this is also in the words of Mr. Al-Nasser, Nihal Saad, Alessandro Gerola, Matthew Hodis, and of course, Vanessa Swain. Thank you. You are really appreciated. But also I have to thank my own team. They have been incredible. They keep on making me work harder and doing more, and I'm proud of them. Without Milena Pii, who heads up our worldwide CSR activities, this award would not be what it is today. And with our other colleagues, Sabina Hartmann, thank you for everything that you've done to make this possible. This partnership is really, truly unique. And what really makes me happy, and I believe also makes everybody at the UNAOC, is what has taken place over the last 6 years. We have doubled the number of countries that we've impacted. Today, it reaches 99 countries around the world. The awardees have tripled, more than tripled, the beneficiaries of their activities and their efforts. They really deserve a round of applause. From our side, from the BMW Group, we will continue to offer our expertise, our financial funding, moving down the road. This is a commitment that we hold dear. And one of the keys is to help magnify these initiatives that these awardees are doing on a day-to-day basis. And it is their enduring commitment and visionary ideas that keeps us going, and also that makes this partnership unique and strong. So, before I close, there are two things. I have something to say to the awardees. Welcome. After the award, you become part of an incredible group of people around the world. You will join other awardees, and you will have opportunities to meet with them, to talk with them, and to exchange ideas with them. And each and every one of you, of course, we are proud of what you do. You are changing the world, building bridges, making everybody's life, and making this world a better place. Thank you. So with all partnerships, there comes a moment when a decision has to be made. And I, of course, had to go to our management board and present the ideas of this award. And it was overwhelmingly agreed that we would continue this partnership in the next 4 years. And today, we both, Anas and myself, signed that agreement. So as a symbol of that, we would like to exchange the agreement that we have both signed. Your Excellency. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chris, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. As Mr. McAndrews said, this is a really unique partnership. From what I'm aware of, there are not many partnerships of such mutual benefit between the United Nations and the private sector. To date, the project has impacted 1.2 million people around the world. And as Mr. McAndrews alluded to, when you are an awardee, when you are an award recipient, it's really becoming part of the UNAOC and the BMW family. And I know, having the privilege to have been a part of this ceremony since its inception, that is true. And it's sort of that moment in your life when someone says, I believe in you, and they give you the confidence to go even farther. And this is the moment I think we've all been waiting for. We get to hear directly from the awardees themselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to hear each awardee in alphabetical order. We're going to watch a short video, and we're going to hear from them directly. First, I'd like to introduce Buddy Up from United Kingdom, Northern Ireland.
The conflict in Northern Ireland may now be history, but the so-called peace walls, built to minimize intercommunal violence, are still there. These barriers exist not only in the physical world, but also in people's minds. In Belfast, there are more than 50 peace lines dividing nationalist, Republican, Catholic neighborhoods that identify as Irish from unionist, loyalist, Protestant ones who identify as British. A cold peace dominates much of social and cultural life. It is not unusual for children to grow up without ever really knowing somebody from the other side. In the belief that it takes a village to raise a child and to enable contact between two deeply divided and polarized communities, two nursery schools, one from each community, partnered with the Community Relations in Schools project, CRIS, to create Buddy Up. Within the program, barriers are broken down by learning, playing, painting, and sharing stories with children from the other community, as well as through joint activities for parents. The goal is to humanize the others in this way. Ever since Buddy Up has been very successful in overcoming fear and mistrust, first within participating schools, then at macro level in society. Parents, carers, and staff have taken advantage of the opportunity to explore their own potential and become active peace builders within their communities. The work between the nursery schools and CRIS is helping to create the conditions for the removal of barriers. Just a year ago, one of the peace walls was removed and replaced with landscaping and decorative railings. By implementing Buddy Up in more and more school partnerships, the hope is to achieve a knock-on effect from North Belfast to the rest of Northern Ireland.
Please help me welcome Lisa Dietrich from Buddy Up. Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. Ooh, bring this down a bit. My first ever vote at the age of 18 was a tick yes in the referendum that won our peace accord, the Good Friday Agreement in 1998. It was a very super exhilarating time, but very much full of cautious hope. My family, whilst not devoid of holding bias and at times even bitterness, instilled in me the lifelong lesson that people are not born to hate. I believed at a young age, growing up in South Armagh, that despite the violence and the fear, there must be other families just like mine. There was, and this is the key. There had to be a way to grow a community of togetherness and compassion. The meeting place had to be a safe one, or as safe as possible. We believe this meeting place to be schools, because who would deny the innocence of children? Buddy Up has created common bonds between former strangers. Solace and solidarity has been discovered. We believe hope is a tangible thing. At a time like this, not just at home, but across the world, we desperately need to hear stories of grace and humanity. I asked of the audience to help us flip the story for Northern Ireland. We need a light to be shone on this powerful testimony. Our nursery school partners, Holy Cross and Edenderry, and the families involved have proven the power of the everyday peace builder. We need you to take their story forward. Thank you.
Lisa, congratulations. Lisa's words remind me of the words of United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who said, "The future of the world is in children's hands." But we can never forget that children's futures are in our hands. There is no greater responsibility, no more important job, and no better pathway to a better, healthier, more peaceful world for every person, every family, and every child. Our next project, Crossroads Yat Madit from Uganda.
A 13-episode TV and radio drama series was designed and produced by the organization Media Focus on Africa. The project, named Crossroads, was implemented in north and northeastern Uganda. This region has faced over 2 decades an armed conflict. Communities involved remain divided until today. The project's aim was to raise awareness about the plight of these post-war communities. Before production, dialogue sessions were held with members of the communities in the region. It was a platform for people to get to know the others. The information gathered in this dialogue was used to develop scripts for the drama series. The drama series was aired on national television and radio very successfully.
Spoil everything you touch.
Viewers and listeners were able to identify with certain characters' thinking and behavior and the impact of those thoughts and actions.
Nambi,
What do you want?
I want my child to come home.
You have no son.
Cultural diversity and problems within communities, such as treatment of rape victims, alcohol abuse, and conflict behavior in general, were shown public quite plainly.
Let you down.
I'm sorry for being such a fool.
After airing this series, there were more dialogue sessions with people from different communities in conflict. Together, they discussed and resolved a number of the cross-cultural issues raised in the episodes. Through this method, people learned to carry on the custom of dialogue as opposed to violent retaliation.
Ms. John Ajwang.
Thank you. I was excited to work on this project because of the unique way we are using media for social change. Our drama series, Yat Madit, allowed for voices from communities in North and Northeastern Uganda to be heard, but also for reconciliation between these communities to happen through intercultural dialogue. Yat Madit means a big tree, because in Africa, elders always sat under a tree to discuss issues and find solutions to them. We believe that this project can be replicated because Uganda in itself has had a history of its own conflicts, and we can replicate it in other parts of the country and also across East Africa. So, because we believe that the need for dialogue remains key. And so today I invite you all to join me in supporting this project, to take it to many other places so that we can expand the need for more intercultural dialogue across the region. And thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you. Asante sana, Jean. And so young, the participants, the awardees are getting younger. And this really says something about the future of our world, which is very inspiring to me. Now we will go to Encontrarse en la Diversidad from Argentina.
The project Encontrarse en la Diversidad, that means meeting in diversity, is located in Buenos Aires, Argentina. By offering dynamic workshops in educational institutions, the project not only promotes, but takes action on diversity and inclusion. Discrimination is part of everyday life and threatens democratic societies. With meetings and workshops, the project makes aware of this aspect. It provides spaces and events where the youth can get in dialogue, express themselves in different ways by artistic, dramatic, or sportive activities. The workshops are modulated within the specific circumstances and issues of each institution and community. Own problems and mechanism of discrimination are reflected, and ways how to modify them are shown. By sharing experiences with the others, awareness is rising that other people think differently, feel differently, are different, and that this diversity means to profit from each other, that this is a source of enrichment for the community as a whole.
Ms. Florencia Fish.
Encontrarse in Spanish means to meet, meeting, but it has a double meaning. It means to meet with myself, to know my own differences, to know my own identity, but also to meet with the others, and knowing that that difference with the other and with myself are what make us equal. 7 years ago, I was one of that young people being inspired on a gender equality workshop, and 7 years later, I'm still passionate and inspired than that moment. And I always think and ask myself, how can we all together make a difference? If every of you in your countries, at least once a day, ask if certain practices are natural or are just political, symbolic, and cultural practices, we are fighting discrimination. Spreading the word, letting our project get farther to other countries, it's the way to more young people shout out loud, I'm proud of who I am, of my culture, of my language, of my identity, of my sexuality. Every time we guarantee someone's right, we are closer to build this equal society that we are all building. As Carlos Jauregui, an Argentinian activist, says, in society that educates to be ashamed of who we are, being proud, it's a political decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. What I find so inspiring about the awardees is that they are inspiring people to action all through different mediums. Some through radio, some through movies, some through television, some through theater arts. But the motive is action, inspiring people to the point where they do something or say something, when they blink their eyes and open to a new world. If you're inspired by something here today, this is the only time I'll say it during the ceremony. Log onto your phones, shout out on Facebook or Twitter, anywhere on social media, hashtag IIAwardNYC. IIAwardNYC. Our next project, Global Enterprise Experience, is from a few miles away, down the river, New Zealand.
The Global Enterprise Experience International Business Competition is a project that was created to help university students become future global leaders. In the belief that global issues need global solutions, teams with diverse worldviews and backgrounds are crucial. The project is designed to help students become skilled in managing across cultures and time zones, leading team members from developed and developing countries with vastly different worldviews. Victoria University of Wellington in New Zealand's capital city is home to the annual contest, but the competition is open to all university students around the world. Enrolled students are placed on teams of 8 with diverse national and cultural backgrounds. It is this diversity that is the challenge. The teams only have 3 weeks to develop a 6-page business concept proposal. It should be an idea that tackles a social or environmental issue. The concept proposal should create a better world, but at the same time realize a profit. To date, almost 9,000 students from 635 universities in 113 countries have participated. The project created an active worldwide community in dialogue, discussing challenges and potential, but also social issues in different countries raised by team members during the contest. A number of project proposals have not only been priced, but also implemented.
Miss Deb Gilbertson.
Kia ora. There's a Baha'i quote that says, "So powerful is the light of unity, it can illuminate the whole world." And this was the inspiration behind this project. The idea that we could create global leaders who could communicate across the divides of cultures. Head south, keep going, and the last 2 rocks before you fall off the planet is New Zealand. It's remote, it's sparsely populated, and it has almost no head offices of multinational organisations. Any chance to speak with any of you from organisations that go across nations, I would be grateful for. There may be the chance to build some mutually successful project. And yes, we have 635 universities, and everybody's on a team from sitting in different parts of the world at the same time. But we also have governments, we have civil society, we have businesses, because we have people who are wanting to be able to develop their skills, to be able to lead global teams, to understand about social entrepreneurship. So I invite all of you to enrol your participants, to learn the skills, and we can give them a life-changing, experiential learning opportunity.
Thank you so much. Some might believe that peace is just the absence of war, but it's more than that. To avoid war, we need to be able to build bridges, to combat discrimination, to struggle for justice and human rights for all, to make people respect each other, to make people see their identities respected, but at the same time, feel that they belong to the larger community where they are integrated. Those are the words of the United Nations Secretary General, Antonio Guterres. Our next project, Maria, before we get to you, Awak Kuna from Ecuador.
The Universidad Regional Amazonica, ICIAM, which means rainforest in the language of the indigenous Shuar people, was built in the Amazon for the Amazon. Located in Ecuador, near the origin of the planet's most important river basin, it is home to the world's greatest biodiversity. A unique feature of the university is its own national biological reserve, the Colonzo Chalupas. It was recently declared a protected area by the Ecuadorian government, and it is surrounded by 23 indigenous communities. ICIAM's main priority is the protection of the Amazon. Therefore, indigenous communities have to be integrated. They are the main users of their ecosystems, and as such, they make daily environmental decisions about their land. To explore the potential of community-integrated conservation, ICIAM established an environmental education project. It is designed to bring together people from all walks of life through the art of knitting. By making educational toys for children, there is a platform for dialogue. The knitted animals are scientifically accurate and chosen for their importance to the Amazon. In this way, the project not only repairs the broken bonds between indigenous communities and their natural environment, it also provides the communities a new source of income by selling the knitted animals. Within just 1 year and a half, the project has established a strong relationship between indigenous communities and the university. A shared understanding of the Amazon's needs is created, the foundation to extend intercultural communication to other areas of knowledge.
Maria Cristina Gallegos.
This is the Amazon black-spotted worm. In the Amazon culture, this is considered bad luck. But for us, it brings us very good luck, because this is how we started the conversation about this project. So, together with my colleague and friend Caroline Baquet, we learned that this animal and many other animals from the Amazon are part of people's cultural identity. Through this project, indigenous communities are not only protecting their environment and their cultural values, they are also building sustainable income. With this international recognition, this award helps Agua Cuna stand ready to scale up its impact. So I hope you get to fall in love with this project as I have, endorse it, promote it, and maybe financially support communities with startups. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are in New York City, and I can think of no better place to be hosting the award ceremony this year. We've had the opportunity to host the ceremony in Doha, Qatar, Bali, Indonesia, Vienna, Austria, Baku, Azerbaijan, New York City, United Nations headquarters, really one of the melting pots of the modern world. But I would like to encourage each of us not to forget that when we do take action towards intercultural collaboration, it's like dropping a pebble in the ocean. And that ripple goes on forever. We might think, well, we're in New York City, we spend a lot of our time, I know I do, in front of a computer. It's easy to feel like we're not actually impacting people on the ground. We don't see the results. But as you watch these videos and you hear these stories, you can see that making a step today, making a decision, helping one of these awardees can inspire and help people all the way to the reaches of New Zealand, to the Amazon. Our next project, Peace Rickshaws Project, is from Pakistan.
Three-wheeled motorized rickshaws carrying paying customers are on the roads everywhere you go in Pakistan. But while buses and trucks across the country are often festooned, rickshaws tend to be relatively plain. Unfortunately, a phenomenon has emerged in which radicals have used rickshaw art to spread jihadist ideology. When the number of rickshaws with posters carrying hate messages surged, it was necessary to counter those messages on the same platform. The Peace Rickshaws project was born in Karachi, Pakistan's most populous city. The Pakistan Youth Alliance started out by organizing workshops for about 100 students in some of Karachi's most conflict-prone areas. Students were asked to come up with designs and slogans for the rickshaws. The idea was to use contemporary artistic expression to spread messages of peace. The organization also educated rickshaw owners about the importance of using their vehicles to promote peace instead of hatred. To do so, they enlisted Nusrat Iqbal, a Karachi truck artist and celebrity in his field. With his help, 30 rickshaws were emblazoned with eye-catching decorations and peace slogans, which attracted a great deal of attention. The project is good for business. People like the design and prefer an art rickshaw over others when they have a choice. After enjoying tremendous success in Karachi, the project will now be replicated in Lahore.
Syed Ali Abbas Zaidi.
I was an aeronautical engineer in 2007 when the world around me started to witness the most barbarous violence at the hands of Taliban. And I had a decision to make. I could ignore it, I could continue with my life, make money, or I could fight. And I decided to fight. So today, as I stand here 10 years on, I am proud to have founded 3 organizations that are on the forefront of fighting extremism in Pakistan. Violence, fear, and hatred. These are the 3 things that can best describe extremism. And coming from Pakistan, which has lost more than 70,000 people to organized terrorism in the last few years, and having worked to counter extremism for over 10 years in more than 40 cities, let me tell you this. Let me suggest to you where we are going wrong. Our response to extremism is itself embedded with violence, fear, and hatred. And that is why I believe the role of the people sitting in this room is very important. All of us, you and me, have to pledge to work for a better world. We have to pledge to work against systems that propel violence, fear, and hatred. And as long as we are standing, we have to pledge to hold hands of those that have fallen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Syed, I want to thank you, and I know that you told me before this ceremony you have lost many friends, people that you've known and loved to extremism and terrorism. Syed has studied in California. He can live anywhere he wants in the world, and he chooses to stay in his home and help his fellow countrymen and women. I had the opportunity to visit the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota, which is arguably the poorest economical place in the United States of America. A teenage suicide rate of 150% higher than the national U.S. average. And when I was there, the suicide prevention director, Tiny, she said to me, Chris, there's a Lakota saying which you must never forget. Do not step over your own to help others. And each of these awardees are certainly helping their own, and it is beautiful to see. Our next project, Play to Talk by Games for Peace, is based in Israel.
Thanks to the project Play to Talk, Arab and Jewish school children who are separated into different educational systems in Israel can change their perceptions of one another. The focus is on reducing prejudices through positive interaction, since negative stereotypic beliefs about the other are still omnipresent. Play to Talk uses a platform that children immediately feel comfortable with, that of the popular video game Minecraft. In the project, children from a pair of Jewish and Arab schools meet on a weekly basis to play Minecraft together from their school's computer rooms. Rather than having one school play against the other, the children are divided into 2 teams, each mixed between the 2 schools. The children are presented with a set of challenges that require increasing levels of cooperation and collaboration. To overcome the language barrier, Minecraft's chat system is equipped with an automatic online translation service. Throughout the program, the virtual world is supplemented by face-to-face meetings where the children discover the real people behind the avatars. The virtual and real-life experiences have a lasting effect. Pupils not only overcome stereotypes, many of them also add their counterparts to their social media circles and stay in touch. So there is a persistent change in attitudes towards the other group among children who completed the project. A remarkable achievement that can promote intercultural dialogue and understanding.
Mr. Uri Mishol.
Thank you. 5 years ago, you could say I was living a typical, maybe even successful version of Israeli life. I served 6 years in the army. I started my own software startup, and I was living happily with my family. Yet something was somewhat wrong. I was 35, and I have never held a meaningful conversation with an Arab person. I remember looking at my children and thinking, if something doesn't change, by the time they reach the age of 18, they too might go to the army and be fed by ignorance and misconceptions. With a group of Jewish and Arab entrepreneurs, we formed Games for Peace. We are already changing Israel's future generation. We are hoping to reach thousands more. And my dream is not only to do that, but also to implement similar projects in other countries such as your own. I invite you to connect with us and do that. Thank you. Shukran. Toda.
Thank you, Uri. By show of hands, first of all, who is still with us? Can I hear a round of applause to know who's still listening? Okay. By show of hands, how many people in this room play the video game Minecraft? Don't be shy, raise your hand. No, I know that some of you play one. Thank you for being honest. We have one honest person in this room. Nobody plays Minecraft? Uri, you told me that you were going to give a free tutorial for anyone that wants to play, right? Right after lunch. So before we continue, one word. I'm looking for one word that you find is the meaning of this presentation for you so far. Do I have any friends in the audience that would like to stand and share what that word is for them? Yes, please stand.
I would like to honor Mr. remarkable work. God bless you. And thank you very much for the talk. Mr. Munya, who does wonderful work for the United Nations Women for Peace. I'm just overwhelmed with the concept of peace. I think all of the awardees have done remarkable work. They are people of enormous substance, great ingenuity, and God bless them for thinking about other people. So peace is the word that I think about, and it's the most delicious word in the vocabulary of human people.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Peace. Peace. One more. Is there anybody else? Anyone maybe from this table? One word.
Hope.
Hope. Hope. And one more. What was that, ma'am?
Unity.
Peace, hope, and unity in diversity. I can think of no better adjectives to describe this presentation today. We will now go to one of our last awardees, Safarni, from Egypt.
One of the best ways to get exposure to diversity is to immerse yourself in it through travel. However, without the chance to travel and encounter other cultures, and without personal experiences to build on, prejudices are more likely to appear. What would our world look like if children had platforms to create intercultural bonds from a young age? That was the idea behind the project Safarni, Arabic for Take Me Traveling, which enables children to experience the benefits of travel without leaving their hometown. Complete with handmade passports and boarding passes, the workshop walks a small group of children through the travel experience, from boarding an imaginary plane in one room to reaching their destination in another. The children see photos of what it looks like there. They are taught common phrases and sample food from that country. But the most important aspect of the workshop is meeting and getting to know people from the actual country who represent the culture. By dancing, playing, and laughing together, children learn to respect other cultures and to overcome their differences. The project gives the children a positive reference they can hold on to when they hear things about that particular culture or country. Through these simulated travel adventures, Safarni gives children a glimpse of the world outside to help them become global citizens with open minds.
Miss Nasreen Sharara, thank you.
When I was 6, a civil war was raging in Lebanon. I thought of my friend Jazzy. Just knowing him changed my whole perspective on the war. Our friendship created empathy. The war was no longer headlines, it was real to me. In Safarni, we believe friendships are the basis of peace, and today's major conflicts stem from disconnection. That's why we're on a constant quest to research, design, and implement the ultimate platforms for global intercultural connections. Our workshops encourage children to be ambassadors of diversity and inclusiveness. Our workshops have taken place in Egypt, Berlin, Istanbul, and Tokyo. After Safarni, the percentage of children who felt positively about foreigners increased from 35 to 70%. We know Safarni has the potential for global positive impact. During the Egyptian Revolution in 2011, I was in Tahrir Square with people from all different backgrounds connected by a common cause. Connection does not just breed empathy, it breeds change and hope. And I hope that you join Safarni by firstly looking inside yourself and asking, who can I connect with? Thank you.
Shukran, Ms. Sharara, and thank you for reminding us that to become a global citizen, we actually don't need to travel. All we have to do is open our hearts and open our minds. Transformation of farmer pastoralist conflict from Nigeria.
In Nigeria, the vast area of land available to both settled farmers and semi-nomadic cattle herdsmen has diminished massively over the past 2 decades. The result of climate change, deforestation, and overgrazing. The consequence is a conflict that evoked another old fight, a fight between religions. This causes many hundreds of fatalities every year, and still the number of casualties continues to rise. Back in 1995, during times of the old religious war, Imam Muhammad Ashafa and Pastor James Wuye from Kaduna in northern Nigeria formed the Interfaith Mediation Center. Their mission, to teach warring religious youth militias to resolve their conflicts peacefully. Once, they were mortal enemies themselves, intent on killing one another in the name of religion. Throughout a violent religious conflict, Ashafa lost family members, Wuye lost his hand. They faced a choice, to keep on fighting or to stop the violence and change their lives. The two have worked together ever since and successfully mediated between Christians and Muslims. In the midst of clashes, the organization brings people together to identify problems and solve them through dialogue. It also trains youth to become civic peace activists. There are now more than 20,000 community members, and their method of dialogue has spread to other countries. Since the farmer-pastoralist conflict has recently become even more devastating, the organization's work is more important than ever. Using its established networks of peace activists in affected communities, it pleads for dialogue instead of violence.
Pastor James Movell Wuye and Imam Muhammad Nurayan Ashafa.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I lost a hand as a cause of this problem that has engulfed our society. Violent extremism, ethnic religious conflict, and the growing trend of land degradation and climate change, engulfing the sub-Saharan and the climate change, we ought to have, in a way, develop a strategy and position ourselves through our faith-based approach to bring reconciliation, collaboration, hope, and healing of collective memories of the people.
Assalamu alaikum. Distinguished brothers and sisters, Here, I'm standing here to share with everyone that tackling farmers and pastoralist conflict will restore the social fabric of the African Sahel region, while healing the land will restore the environmental fabric. Help us find the necessary resources to do this. Support interdependence, celebrate the gift of diversity, and collaborate with us to care for the planet. Wherever we are all making a difference in our own world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I wonder how anger has impacted our life. And when someone is violent towards us, how, in my experience, my first response is to be violent or angry towards them. But these gentlemen are living proof. They show us that at a certain point, we must transform anger into compassion and concern. And only then will the violence end. I'm reminded of the quote by Gandhi when his train was pulling away from the railway station and a reporter rushed up to him and said, "Mahatmaji, can you give me a message to take back to the Indian people?" And he just scribbled on a napkin. He said, "My life is my message." And for each of us, finally, our life is our message. And finally, and certainly not least, Unleash Tunisia Venture Bus, based in Tunisia.
The Unleash Tunisia Venture Bus is a project in Tunisia that promotes entrepreneurship, business skills, and a startup mentality. It targets college graduates. It's especially them who are hit by unemployment in a country with an already high unemployment rate. The youth's lack of prospects is one of the reasons for the political and economic instability in Tunisia. Through a training team traveling in a bus all around the country, setting up training sessions lasting 3 to 4 days each, vulnerable youth in remote areas with poor infrastructure are targeted. The aim is to prevent them from sliding into violent extremism. The program kicks off with a training session on the bus. Selected entrepreneurs and mentors coach graduates on how to find jobs and create startups. Additionally, the young people attend workshops and visit successful local businesses. The idea is for them to learn how to voice their aspirations and gain valuable knowledge of the different ecosystems in their respective regions so that they can come up with their own ideas. Besides that, building mutual tolerance and appreciation between diverse groups are the project's goals. By discussing and debating ideas with people from different backgrounds and different perspectives, young people learn to be open-minded. They get the chance to recognize the importance of shifting the paradigm towards bottom-up change, starting at grassroots level. This project is all about realizing their potential. It's up to them to use it for the good of their country.
Mr. Wajdi Baloumi.
Thank you. The Unleash Tunisia Venture Bus was a project that enabled the youth to change their realities in their country. At the time of the launching of this project, I had a full-time job. I was doing my master's degree, and then I had two decisions: whether to be part of this project or to continue the same I would have been doing. And the decision was to take part of this project, and now I can see the impact that we have made all over Tunisia. Our duty is to enable youth to change their realities and also be part of a change of Tunisia. Also, it is small acts that make the change. I believe that everyone in this room can join what I could call a movement led by the youth and for the youth. If we had made this impact through these tours and trainings, let's imagine what we could do together by joining this movement. Thank you.
We have the cameras here, we're all applauding, and one thing that I would like to remind us is that each of the awardees engages in their work without necessarily applause or cameras or thanks on Facebook on a daily basis. So one more round of applause for all of the awardees. I will now call to the stage His Excellency, High Representative for the UN Alliance of Civilizations, as well as Mr. McAndrews, To help present the honorable mentions, the awardees have worked so hard to get to this point, and I know it is very meaningful for them. And I will also call to the stage Miss Bridget LaPierre, who will present the 5 honorable mention awards in alphabetical order. Thank you so much.
It's an honor to announce the honorable mention, the Crossroads Projects, Yat Madid, Media Focus on Africa, Uganda.
Congratulations.
Encontrarse en la diversidad, meeting in diversity, Argentina. Global Enterprise Experience, Te Kahau, Education Trust, New Zealand. Play to Talk, Games for Peace, Israel. Unleash Tunisia Venture Bus, Young Leaders Entrepreneurs, Tunisia.
Congratulations. And now for the moment everyone has been waiting for. The 5 remaining awardees will be announced by the head of the international jury, Mr. Barry von Driel. Thank you.
So it gets very exciting here. The 5th awardee today, Transforming Pastoralist Farmer Conflict in Nigeria. Please come forward.
We'd like to ask the awardees to make a short thank you speech, to say a few words. Congratulations. And please say a few words, gentlemen.
We thank the Almighty God for the United Nations Alliance of Civilization and BMW Award for Intercultural Innovations. It is apt and timely, given the escalating trend in Africa and in sub-Saharan region. We accept this award and dedicate it to the thousands of lives lost and property destroyed as a result of this phenomenon.
So, thank you, God.
Okay. And I would just like to remind everyone that these are essentially the 5 awardees. The first 5 were honorable mentions, but as BMW and the UN Alliance of Civilizations reminded us before this event, every awardee is given the same exact support when they are welcomed to the family.
Well, they're already waiting in the wings. The 4th awardee today, Knitting for Conservation, Awakuna from Ecuador.
Please say a few words.
Ali Shishi, thank you. I want to thank my family who's here with me, my 1-year-old daughter, my husband, my parents. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. They gave me the strength to continue with this project. My friend and colleague, Caroline Baquet, who has been in this journey with me in the whole process of creating this project. ICAM University, Salinerito, and Colonso for supporting this project as well. Thank you all as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
We get to the 3 remaining. The third awardee today, I'm looking here, Buddy Up, a school-based peace-building approach.
Thank you so much. What an incredible honour. I take this home to North Belfast for the schools and the families and my colleagues, and they're watching. Thank you so much to the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations and BMW Group for most unexpected recognition. Thank you.
Congratulations.
So the tension builds. No, this way. Right, got it. Second awardee is Safarni, Egypt.
We would like to thank the UN Alliance of Civilization and the BM Group for this amazing opportunity, as well as our dedicated team in Egypt, our volunteers, our partners, our board, and especially all the children who inspire our work and dedication to love, acceptance, and understanding. Thank you so much.
Some of you have kept track, know who the first awardee is today. On the behalf of the international jury, I just want to say that we're aware of all the risks that you take in your work, and we appreciate that very much. First awardee this year, Peace Rickshaws Project from Pakistan.
I've lost a lot of friends. I will name only 3, Khurram Zaki, Sabine, and Irfan. 3 dear friends that I lost in this fight. Thank you very much.
We each just take a moment today to think about what really inspired us that we will take with us. I would really like to thank everyone for coming. A special thanks to Ms. Al Nasser, the High Representative, Mr. Al Nasser, and Mr. McAndrews from BMW. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bill.
On behalf of BMW Group, I don't think I need a microphone. I think my voice. I would like to thank everyone for coming. Okay. Myself, as well as Mr. Nasser, we really want to thank everyone for coming. And also, Chris, thank you again for doing the fabulous work here. What's for us important is that these people inspire each and every one of us. And just as a sign of recognition, I think they would appreciate if we could all just stand up. And I believe they deserve a round of applause.
the awardees can come on the stage for one final photo. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. Thank you.
This is good.